And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome. Welcome to another round of Conscious Roster Report here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com. It is Thursday. That means it's time for Tech and Future Talk on LIB Radio, LIB TV, livinginblack.com. You and I get together and we look at what is happening in the world around us. We look over the horizon at the future. We look at how technology plays such a solid, important part of our evolution as individuals, our evolution as societies. Much to do with the opportunities that have been presented to us. Today's date is Thursday, the 10th of April, 2025. In the Western calendar, this corresponds to the year 6265 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we have realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place on LIB Radio, LIB TV, here on livinginblack.com. Tech and Future Talk. That's our Thursday broadcast. Today, I'm going to reminisce a little bit, revisit a little bit, and we're going to point out the critical importance of understanding this recent book that I published. The book is entitled The Stem Cell Revolution, a holistic approach to stem cell activation and regenerative therapy. That comes a month after, a little less than 2 months after Living Superfood Solutions, dietary strategies to prevent and reverse common chronic diseases. The critical importance of these two books when it comes to the intersection of the poor state of health of many nations, including the United States, with the very rapid, incessant rise in medical expenses, along with the corruption of the environment, the food chain, the corruption of toxic pollutants in the environment, all of these coming together to create a catastrophic situation for the American public. It strongly resembles the winter going into spring of 2020 with the diagnosis. I'm not going to mention its name. I am broadcasting today here on YouTube. The diagnosis that turned into a pandemic, that turned into a national health catastrophe. There's just no denying that did turn out to be catastrophic for the nation. A lot of people lost their lives. We know a lot more 5 years after that than we knew then. Today, we are to apply so much more of what we know toward the aim of disease prevention, of disease diagnosis, reversal, and as much as anything for comprehending what is happening with our bodies, what is happening. A lot of people just don't know, can't figure out, can't comprehend what's happening with their bodies, so they just default to a medical, pharmaceutical, drug cartel complex that exploits their ignorance. You don't want to be in that long line of people being ruthlessly exploited for ignorance. We don't want that to happen in any aspect of our lives, whether it be in education, in economics, entertainment, in media. We don't want to be just ruthlessly exploited because we are functionally illiterate. Let's go into the topic today: stem cells and pancreatic beta cells. The future of medicine. And while stem cells and pancreatic beta cells are going to figure large into this conversation we're having today, but really this talks about how this regenerative medicine represented by stem cell therapy, plasma-rich, protein-rich plasma, or plasma-rich platelets, that's what I'm trying to get to. These therapies, PRP and stem cell, are the future of medicine, and that future is the word regenerate. Genesis means creation, generate therefore means creation. To regenerate means to let's create again. I often say to my clients, take your current age, cut it in half, and remember how you were then. Remember how you felt, how energetic you were. Remember your stamina, your manhood, your womanhood. And go back and claim it again. That's why we have studied, and that's why I am perfecting regenerative medicine. Go back and fetch it. Sankofa yourself. Then move forward. It's an exciting time. Yes, it's true that stem cells can regenerate and normalize pancreatic beta cells for insulin production. Pancreatic beta cells for insulin production. Why this focus on regenerating pancreatic beta cells for insulin production? Because the problems of hyperglycemia, diabetes or adult onset diabetes or diabetes mellitus, the problems of insulin resistance, and the spectrum of metabolic disorders that are connected to dysregulation of insulin and adipose tissue, what we call dysregulation of lipid metabolism. All of this is related, and regenerating, rejuvenating, and putting brand new, brilliant life in our pancreas is a critical component of our strategy for extending life expectancy now by 30 years and extending that healthy lifespan by 50 or 60 years. You have people now who are going into a death spiral and staying in that death spiral for 20, 30 years of their life. That's not living. That's dying slowly. We're all going to die. We're all going to perish according to the rules, myself included. But my plan is to live a very long life expectancy, some 50 years more than my father. My plan is also to be a healthy, vital geriatric or super centenarian. That means over 110 years. I want to be a vital, healthy, functional, mobile super centenarian. I'm claiming it. But more so than just claiming it, I build it. Not just for myself, but for those of you who commit to making this journey along with your brother. Let's do this, not just for our own selfish generation. Let's do it for the generations that follow us. Let's do it for our children's children. Let's do it because it's the right thing to do and that we can do it. And that's an exciting thing. I welcome you, a listening audience, to the program today. If you are on YouNow, you are welcome. I do see Mido L is in the house. I do see Sonic Blazer in the house. I see Drieliton, Dree Layton, or Dr. Elliott. I'm just going to call you Dr. Elliott is in the house. Why not? If you are on our Rumble family, listening for Rumble, our main broadcasting site, I'd love to hear from you if you can. If nothing else, just hit the like button wherever you are. We're also broadcasting today. We are live on Facebook, not Facebook, on YouTube as well. We'd love to hear from you. Let's go into this topic. I'm still describing it. Yes, it's true that stem cells can regenerate and normalize pancreatic beta cells for insulin production. Researchers report significant progress in this area. For instance, a study published in the journal Cell Metabolism indicates that BMP7, a growth factor, can mobilize pancreatic stem-like cells and convert them into new insulin-producing cells, the islet beta cells. It's islet beta cells. If we can prove in vivo, meaning in the body, if we can prove that this process can happen within days, if we can prove that it can happen within days and that permanent reversal of type 2 diabetes can be achieved without long-term medication, what if we can prove all of this? What if? Let's entertain the question. By the end of the conversation today, I think you may come to the conclusion, yes, we have proved. Food is nature's most perfect medicine. I'll repeat. Food is nature's most perfect medicine. And nutraceuticals are the future of regenerative medicine. Nutraceuticals. So let's go into this conversation. A little bit of background here. I pulled up a lot of research, some of which I have to share with you, some of which you'll have to be curious enough to look it up on your own. I have this excerpt. Additionally, a research group led by Professor Timo Otankoski at the University of Helsinki has demonstrated that stem cells can form cells that closely mimic normal pancreatic islets in both structure and function. Stem cells. Hence the book, The Stem Cell Revolution, becomes very, very important should those of us who have been plagued or injured by insulin insensitivity or insulin resistance, be you hyperglycemic, pre-diabetic, diabetic, or suffering the consequences of diabetes-related diseases and disorders such as kidney failure, peripheral neuropathy, thrombosis, poor circulation in our lower extremities, leading to amputations. Here's another pathway. It's opened up. The door is open. It's unlocked. Go through it and go down this other pathway. It has to be willful on your part. I won't be able to magically show up in your kitchen or wherever you take your health-related instruction. I won't be able to just magically show up there and say, just follow me. Let's walk into the other room and you'll be healed. It ain't that easy. You didn't get in trouble that easily. You're not going to get out of trouble that easily. But I will tell you, based upon in vivo, that you can correct your wild diabetic swings and instability and insensitivity to insulin. You can correct it. Well, let me just read what the information says. We talked about these advancements suggest that beta stem cells hold promise for regenerating beta cells and potentially treating diabetes by restoring insulin production. Dr. Gabriel Cousens, my friend, he's an Essene rabbi. Dr. Gabriel Cousens' method for revitalizing pancreatic insulin production involves a 21-day program based upon a raw, living foods diet. This diet focuses on a moderate, low, complex carbohydrate, plant source only approach that aims to reverse diabetes by resetting the genetic expression of a person's DNA. Again, Sankofa, go back and fetch so that you can move forward. This approach aims to reverse diabetes by resetting the genetic expression, this DNA methylation, of a person's DNA. According to Dr. Cousins, the program can render insulin and related medications unnecessary within 4 days. As blood sugar levels drop to normal and the diabetic shifts into a non-diabetic physiology within 2 weeks. 4 days leveling out the insulin. Now, I have a client I'm working with right now that had his numbers dramatically shift from the upper 300s to as low as 105 insofar as measuring his blood sugar levels in 24 hours. It didn't just stay at 105. Insulin fluctuates throughout the day, depending on the meals we eat and the times of day and the way we rest and sleep. Insulin levels in the blood fluctuate. This particular client did cut his insulin shots, dosage, in half during that 24-hour period, especially when he saw the numbers so dramatically shift. And closely monitoring these numbers throughout the day, timing it for before meals, after meals, etc., saw that the numbers apparently never did climb above about 137 to 150 for the day. Today begins day 2. I haven't talked to him, but yesterday when I walked out of the office after doing the show, I was greeted by this incredible news. He's an in-house client right now, staying with us, traveling across the country. So this is it. This is the in vivo validation of what has, to some extent, been mostly theoretic. But we have the chance now to start proving these things. And we should commit to that. Why not us? Why not us? Be the ones to commit to proving that these techniques work. I see you in the house, Rhonda. She says, Uja all. Greetings to you, beloved. Great to have you with us today. And I, as you can tell, I am very excited that these protocols that I have created are working just so, they're working so well that it's a little bit shocking to me. Now, I know that they work. I designed them to work, to be functional. So therefore, I'm not surprised it'll work. But to see someone's dramatic shift in blood sugar shift so dramatically from a very high crisis mode to in the realm of the normal, if it were maintained there without the insulin shots. And again, as I said, this particular client did cut his insulin on his own by 50%. So let's believe that miracles do happen. Dr. Gabriel Cousins, I've been reading from this. According to Dr. Cousins, the 21-day program, his Tree of Life 21-day program, documented in his book. The book is entitled There Is a Cure for Diabetes, the 21-day plus holistic recovery program. And I'll put up the link to that book. You can get it from Amazon. But this program does render insulin receptivity functional in 4 days. In 4 days. Sounds like a miracle to me. You know something? I do believe in miracles. Yeah, I do. Don't be surprised. A whole lot of us do believe in miracles, especially when we witness them. Because I have witnessed miracles, it's easy for me to admit that I do believe in miracles. Do believe that miracles have a biological basis. We call it epigenetics, the so-called placebo effect. That's the mind, body, spirit's power over molecules and cells. Let's go into deeper research here. I did put up a link to Dr. Gabriel Cousens' book on Amazon. Let me just share that link for more of you. If you are dealing with hyperglycemia, high blood sugar, it is a metabolic syndrome disease, and it is incredibly disruptive to people's lives. Listed as the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, it's probably more like 5th. We need to be serious about what solutions we have and we do put in place. So, going forward, I put up a link to his book. Here's how Amazon.com describes the book, There Is a Cure for Diabetes. Dr. Gabriel Cousens offers an innovative approach to the prevention and healing of what he calls chronic diabetes degenerative syndrome. Chronic diabetes degenerative syndrome. Good description. A leading medical authority in the world of live food nutrition, Dr. Cousens exposes the dangers of excess glucose and fructose as the key causes of this seemingly unstoppable epidemic that affects more than 25 million Americans and 347 million people worldwide. Cousens, whose diabetes recovery program is the most successful anti-diabetes program in the world, presents a 3-week plan that focuses on a moderately low, complex carbohydrate, live food, plant source only diet that reverses diabetes to a physiology of health and well-being by resetting the genetic expression of a person's DNA. The program renders insulin and related medicines unnecessary within 4 days as the blood sugar drops to normal levels and the diabetic shifts into a non-diabetic physiology within 2 weeks. You have heard about the film, and actually I queued the film up yesterday. Maybe I can link to the film. And that film is up on YouTube. Let me see if I can find the film. I'm not going to play any part of it because it is 90 minutes long, and I didn't have anything queued up to play from it. I'm opening my YouTube in a new tab, and I started playing the film, so I know it's in my history buffer. And I'm looking at history, and the film is entitled simply, no, that's not the whole film. Or is it? Yeah. The film is entitled Simply Raw. So let me just copy the link, and I'll copy the title along with the link. Bear with me, this is well worth waiting for. Simply Raw, Reversing Diabetes in 30 Days. That's the name of it. Here is the link to it. And let's imagine that we're going to use this information from this brilliant young elder, Dr. Gabriel Cousens. I say young elder. He is definitely an elder. I know he's senior to me. But, physiologically, though, his body is probably half his chronological age. I like to think so myself, that my body is half of my chronological age. We all want to think of ourselves as young and vital and energetic and creative and productive and all of those good things that we say about ourselves. And we also celebrate when others say that about us as well. We're talking today about the future of medicine is regenerative. Regenerative medicine means we regenerate. We create over again. And we have the chance to live again, build again, do again, all the great things. And those of you on my Facebook page, I did put up a picture of my associate's real-time blood sugar level monitor. And it shows the picture. It's at 108. I had seen it a minute or two earlier. It was 105. And 30 minutes later, it was 137 or so. So insulin levels do fluctuate in the blood depending on what food is being processed and digested. But the day before, it had reached up into the upper 300s. Now you can actually see. No, let me show you this to you on the screen so you can actually see the chart. This is amazing. Open the image in a new tab, and that image is open in a new tab. Let me just make that full screen, F11. Make it full screen. No, that wasn't it. F11, full screen. Now I'm going to share this for all of our broadcasters. I'm going to put this onto the screen. Share screen. I'm looking for this window. This is what his real-time blood sugar monitor read. Now, as you can see that, look at the screen. Look at the screen. You see the graph, the chart, the levels. This is for yesterday. And beginning from 7 a.m. when he woke up, it's under 150, significantly under 150, at about 100 or so, which is absolutely superb. Then moving into breakfast, eating, and then lunch after breakfast, we can see that for yesterday it spiked. Now this is just for yesterday. It's not for a day before yesterday when it was spiking. I wish the chart backed up a little bit more. Hopefully I'll be able to get to him to show the chart larger scale. But we can see that in the afternoon now, it drops down again. It did not go back up above 350 as it did the day before. This time in the middle afternoon, it normalized and drops down to 105, which is when I walked in the room. Now it's at 108 showing here on the screen. You see the chart. This is after 24 hours of living superfood. Now there are other protocols. Ultimately they're going to go. Today we're going to go to the supplement store and we're going to get a bunch of supplements because he has numerous drug related diagnoses that he's committed to overcoming, including overcoming the weight status. And what this chart doesn't show is that in this same 24-hour period, his weight went down 5 pounds while eating 2 meals a day. Food is nature's most perfect medicine. I'm going to continue. I'm going to let you look at this chart so you can see what it looks like. And somebody could say hello. Somebody could say nice work. Somebody could say something. I'd love to see some commentary. But if you choose not to comment, That's not a bad thing. That's not the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world is for you to be in a situation where your health is out of control. So, I was talking about Dr. Gabriel Cousins' 21-day program. The program renders insulin and related medicines unnecessary within 4 days as the blood sugar drops to normal levels and the diabetic shifts into a non-diabetic physiology within 2 weeks. Substantially revised throughout, this practical and encouraging guide reveals the risks of low cholesterol and low omega-3s in one's diet and includes more than 140 delicious and healthy recipes. Good job, Doc. The book represents a major breakthrough in understanding the synergy that helps cure diabetes. A lot of little side issues come up during this study, and I copy some of these side issues into this document that I use for broadcasting on a daily basis. And one of the things that came up was BMP growth factor. Where did it come up? I don't see where it came up, but it drew my attention. So I had to take a little bit of time in studying what is BMP-7 growth factor. Bone morphogenic protein 7, BMP7, is a potent anti-inflammatory growth factor belonging to the transforming growth factor beta superfamily. It plays a crucial role in various biological processes, including embryogenesis. Oh, I recognize that. We're in the realm of stem cells. It plays a crucial role in various biological processes, including embryogenesis, hematopoiesis, neurogenesis, not genesis, neurogenesis, and skeletal morphogenesis. Every time we see the word genesis, we see creation. If it's carcinogenesis, that's terrible. That's creation of cancer. But if we're talking about embryogenesis, those are the fastest acting pluripotent stem cells. If we're talking about hematopoiesis, that deals with the integrity of blood and liver function. If we're talking about neurogenesis, we're talking about positive functioning of the nervous system. And skeletal morphogenesis, that means stronger bones and moving away from disorders such as osteoarthritis. BMP7 growth factor is our friend. BMP7 stimulates target cells by binding to specific membrane-bound receptors, such as BMPR2, and transduces signals through the SMAD and mitigan activated protein kinase, MAPK, pathways. What are SMAD and mitogen is the word, activated protein kinase? These are metabolic enzymes. These are your friends. These are your friends. Real quickly, let's just take a little deviation on that pathway. Let me finish this, and then I'm going to set up this little deviation on this pathway and get a clearer understanding of what I just described. What is, and I'm going to put this in quotation marks, and that's going to be our next little side pathway. But let me finish this. In the body, BMP7, bone morphogenic protein 7, is primarily produced by the kidneys and is essential for the differentiation of pre-osteoblasts into mature osteoblasts. We recognize that. That's from the stem cell regenerative therapy book. It also expresses in various tissues, including the brain, the heart, the pancreas, the exocrine glands, skeletal muscle, and lymphoid organs. All of those expressions are potentially our regenerative friends. BMP7 has therapeutic significance in several medical conditions. It is used clinically, and again, it's produced by the kidneys. It's used clinically to induce the differentiation of mesenchymal stem cells into chondrocytes and osteoblasts. Promotes bone formation and stimulates the repair of bone fractures. Additionally, BMP7 has been shown to have anti-fibrotic, anti-apoptotic, and anti-inflammatory properties, making it a potential therapeutic agent in heart diseases. In the context of chronic kidney disease, CKD, BMP7 levels are reduced due to decreased production by the kidneys. Research has demonstrated that BMP7 can reverse the loss of glomeruli due to sclerosis, highlighting its potential in treating chronic kidney diseases. Ooh, for those that are experiencing the metabolic syndrome disorder called progressive nephropathy, meaning progressively your kidneys are failing, here we now have a target that is naturally produced in the kidneys. Here we now have a target that can reverse the degradation of the glomeruli. These are the little, like capillaries, going through the kidneys that filter out the waste out of the blood. The glomeruli malfunction, or glomeruli, which is the plural. The malfunction is the basis of progressive nephropathy, progressive kidney injury. Let me reread that, because we get all of these dialysis clinics opening up in our community now. No one wants to go on dialysis. No one wants to get in a long queue for kidney transplant, as one of my dear friends just recently had kidney transplant. He's very happy, but now he's got to take immunosuppressive drugs for the rest of his life, which means it very seriously limits his ability to be around people, around environments where he might catch a bacterial infection. And immunosuppressant drugs and any type of bacterial infections are definitely problematic. They do not fit one another. And let me reread that. In the context of chronic kidney disease, CKD, BMP7 levels are reduced due to decreased production by the kidneys. We want to increase production by the kidneys. Research has demonstrated that BMP7 can reverse the loss of glomeruli due to sclerosis, highlighting its potential in treating chronic kidney disease. And that atherosclerosis, that's the clogging of arteries. So this sclerosis is the same thing. The glomeruli become clogged. Last point, bone morphogenic protein 7, BMP7, plays a significant role in the conversion of adult human pancreatic exocrine cells into endocrine cells, specifically insulin-producing beta cells. This process is known as exocrine to endocrine conversion and is a promising therapeutic approach for diabetes. So looking at that image, you see something happened in 24 hours. I wish the chart showed the previous day, but it only shows just the morning of the one day. But something happened in my dear brother's body with his pancreas in 24 hours. We're going to be very, very clear, and we're going to keep this happening going. Keep it going over 4 days, and it appears that the drug dependence for insulin and other medicines for this malfunction of the pancreatic insulin and insulin sensitivity complex in the body will have been corrected. Keep it up for 2 weeks, and it's reset and self-sustaining. Keep it up for 30 days. According to Dr. Gabriel Cousins' program, keep it up for 21 days, and you have, quote unquote, cured diabetes. I'm going to give out my text number right now because I want people to understand this is available for those of us who would will to participate. Yes, it is available. You can and you should participate in these processes. Now, first of all, let me take my camera back. And I have other research that I pulled up today. We're not out of research yet. Rhonda, I see you in the house. She says, I've seen this happen with a fellow retreater, student in a living superfoods retreat. You lead, Baba Kitty. Her blood pressure and blood sugar. Yes, Sister Rhonda. That's what we do. That was Sister Rita. Was that Rita? Yeah, we were in Jamaica. And it was with her hypertension and her blood sugar. I can't recall. I'd have to go back in my notes and remember what the situation with her blood sugar. But we remember she arrived in Jamaica on Sunday as we, Rhonda and I, and our dear brother, our dear brother, Uncle Aku, were all there for a Living Superfood certification class retreat. And when she left, flew to Jamaica, she forgot to bring her blood pressure medicine. Left it. I think she said she left it on her dresser next to her bed. And she did not intend to leave it behind, but she ended up in Jamaica with no blood pressure medicine. And on the day that she was flying, her blood pressure reached a high of 156. That's not grossly dangerous, but that's definitely in the realm of it's problematic. And we had a wonderful reception, and on a Monday we started the work and the yoga and the food. We ate wonderful meals. And on the morning of Tuesday, as we woke up, we heard this yelping and excited screaming. And there is, was the name Rita? Oh, I think it's Rita. If not, I have her name and her photograph in another place. I'm not going to look for that right now. But we heard her running around the room and from room to room, waking everybody up. And we double checked, and she was showing her monitor, and her blood pressure read 112/18 with no medicine. 112, not over 18, 118 over, it was like 71 or something. It was right in the realm of normal. It might have been 112 or 118. Either one of those is perfect. She was really excited. And we were all excited for her because she just brought a beautiful spirit with her to the retreat in Jamaica. Very likable, very lovable person, a strong personality. And that's how we do it. Thank you, Rhonda, for reminding me to remind us there is a cure for hypertension. There is a cure for diabetes, hyperglycemia, pre-diabetes. And now we have a system for taking on all of the metabolic syndrome diseases. Much of my focus in the last month has been on the dysregulation of lipid metabolism. If we understand that, that's like 3 or 4, maybe 5 of the metabolic disorders right there. Dysregulation of lipid metabolism is related to excess weight gain. It is related to obesity, which is an extension of excess weight gain. It is directly related to abdominal hyperadiposity, meaning big, huge belly with a fat inside the rib cage pushing on our internal organs. It is directly related to the dysregulation of lipid metabolism is directly related to an imbalance in the LDL-HDL ratio. And it is therefore so-called high cholesterol. And it is directly related to another one, which is the presence of, oh, doggone it, where's my book? Metabolic syndrome. Let me get this word right. I don't know why this word is escaping me right now. Sometimes my brain gets overloaded and I have so many words inside my head, inside my memory, that 1 or 2 of them gets thrown out of place. We're talking about metabolic syndrome, page 86, 87. I'll have that right now. Metabolic syndrome, including high triglycerides. That's directly related to dysregulation of lipid metabolism. So by just taking on that one theme, that one topic of dysregulated lipid metabolism, we knock out 5 metabolic syndrome diseases right there. How do we do it? Food is nature's most perfect medicine. Food combines with hydration. It is nutrition. Food combines with exercise, with rest, detoxification, and our mind, body, spirit matrix. How we relate to our fellow humans and how we relate to society and to nature and to the divine universal spirit. Those are the 7 principles of optimal health, and that's what we teach at the routine retreat. And Rhonda says, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So let's go forward. I got a little bit more research. Let me see, did I finish up this bone morphogenic protein plays a significant role in the conversion of adult human pancreatic exocrine cells into endocrine cells. Exo meaning outside of, endo meaning inside of. Specifically insulin-producing beta cells. This process is known as exocrine to endocrine conversion and is a promising therapeutic approach for diabetes. There is a cure for diabetes. I pulled up a couple of documents and related to today's conversation, I want to go into what I was just looking for. Oh, this wasn't what I was just looking for. Do I have that handy? Okay, this is something I just looked at either a few minutes ago while we were reading earlier, or I was doing this earlier before the show and I pulled this up to read on the air. We're looking at the definition on SMAD, S-M-A-D, and mitogen activated protein kinase pathways. Protein kinase, this whole subject line is dealing with metabolic enzyme activity. Here's what it reads. mitogen activated protein kinase, MAPK, pathways are signaling cascades that convert extracellular stimuli into a wide range of cellular responses, including proliferation, differentiation, apoptosis, and stress responses. We recognize all of those related to stem cell regeneration. These pathways, and again, they said, are cascading, signaling cascades, which means there's a complex here, but once it's started, it's like dominoes. One good thing leads to another, to another, to another. We're talking about these mitogen activated protein kinase pathways. These pathways are highly conserved in eukaryotes, meaning aerobic cellular animals, including humans, and involves a series of protein kinases, metabolic enzymes, that phosphorylate each other in a sequential manner. There you have your cascade. The core components of the mitogen activated protein kinase pathway include MAPK kinases, MAP3Ks, MAP kinases, MAP2Ks, and MAPKs. Now, these are all different structures of these digest or metabolic enzymes, MAPs. The activation of these kinases typically occurs through a three-tiered phosphorylation cascade, where MAP3Ks phosphorylate MAP2Ks, which in turn phosphorylate MAPKs. Now, this term phosphorylate is popping up quite a bit. I'm going to define that here in just a second. Let me finish the last sentence or so of this. And then we're going to go and we're going to get that word in the record. So, this three-tiered phosphorylation cascade where MAP3Ks phosphorylate MAP2Ks, which in turn phosphorylate MAPKs. Once activated, MAPKs can phosphorylate various substrates, including transcription factors, to modulate gene expression and other cellular processes. At this particular point, we have a process. And my intention is to demonstrate that this process is initiated by the epigenetic environment that we create. We have this process by which these transcription factors come into play. At this particular point, we are intentionally methylating our DNA through transcription processes. That's RNA. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. With this cascade of MAPKs from 3s to 2s to MAPKs to phosphorylate other substrates, now we are telling our DNA what to do, including restructure, rewrite, regenerate the function of the pancreatic beta cells. Give me back my insulin that I had when I was perfectly young, healthy person. The SMAD pathway, on the other hand, first of all, before we go to SMAD, let's get this definition. What is phosphorylate? Is the process of introducing a phosphate group into a molecule with the formation of a phosphoric ester, a phosphoric anhydride, or a phosphoric amide. In biochemistry, phosphorylation is the attachment of a phosphate group or to a molecule or an ion. This process and its inverse dephosphorylation or dephosphorylation are common in biology. Now, there goes on, and I want to know more about that. In biochemistry, phosphorylation is the attachment of a phosphate group to a molecule or an ion. The process and its inverse, dephosphorylation, are common in biology. Protein phosphorylation often activates or deactivates many enzymes. Activating and deactivating enzymes, we are now opening and closing the gates of how our body functions on the molecular and cellular level. I am the master of my fate. I am the master of my cellular fate. I am the captain of my soul. We don't think about this stuff. The body does it naturally. The problem is that our bodies have become dysregulated because of the corruption of the environment. That environment includes environmental stressors, pollutants, chemicals we're exposed to, polluted air, polluted water, plastics, microplastics in our body. But the environment, most of the corruption of the environment is in the kitchen. Unless you never go in the kitchen, then it's in the line at the fast food drive-in. We can do better than that. That's kind of funny. Let me real quickly make a note of that. That's got to go. It's got to go in the book that I just started writing. The book is entitled Suicide, the Book. So real quickly, let me pull up a notepad and repeat what I just said. Most of the corruption that is environmental, how did I put it? Doggone it. That impacts our health takes place in the kitchen, and in parentheses, or in the long line at the drive-up window at the fast food restaurant. I'll remember it from that point on. So that's got to go in the book. That's funny. That's funny if you ask me. Most of the corruption. Okay, let's put that into a side, and they'll finish that for right now. That's okay. I'll leave this notepad open in case I say something else brilliantly funny. So one more paragraph, because this is very important. This is technical, so I may be reading this for my own benefit. I hope that you can follow along. During respiration, we're talking about phosphorylation. During respiration, we are breathing. One of the first of the 7 principles of optimal health is the breath. So this is why this is in our mindset, because the 7 principles of optimal health are how we preserve life and hold back the hallmarks of aging. During respiration, phosphorylation is essential to the processes of both anaerobic and aerobic respiration. That's energy formation. We're looking at Otto Warburg's research on the cause of cancer, which involved the production of adenosine triphosphate. That's the fundamental breakdown energy produced in the mitochondria of every cell that is the energy of the body. The high energy exchange medium in the cell. During aerobic respiration, ATP is synthesized in the mitochondrion by addition of a third phosphate group to adenosine diphosphate, ADP, in a process referred to as oxidative phosphorylation. ATP is also synthesized by substrate level phosphorylation during glycolysis. ATP is synthesized at the expense of solar energy by photophosphorylation in the chloroblasts of plant cells. And one might say that last sentence, I'm going to repeat that, but I want you to understand how this sentence relates to ultraviolet B radiation and melanin in our skins. I'm going to read that last sentence. It's talking about plant cells, but there is an analog in humans called melanin. ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the energy of the body, is synthesized at the expense of solar energy by photophosphorylation in the chloroblasts, which would be the melanocytes in humans, the chloroblasts of plant cells. Now, that was some heavy stuff. What I am going to do is, if you don't mind, I'm going to grab this whole article from Wikipedia and print that one. That's going to go into the upcoming book. I could have put this in the cancer book, but it's going to upcome in the year against cancer. Might go in there. I'm actually still writing on it, but I'm trying to finish it in the next 2 or 3 days. This will definitely go. I'm going to print this into a folder on the book called Chewicide, the book. And this is very important. Phosphorylation. So going forward, I have some other documents. Let me see if I'm finished what I was doing for today's work. Do I have it all in? Somehow, somewhere, somebody pulled up a bio, an AI bio on me, and they sent it to me. There is an exciting frontier within holistic natural medicine. We can now create the ideal internal environment that facilitates stem cell creation, proliferation, and differentiation. Oh, this is from the promotion to my stem cell book. All keys to controlling our relationship to vitality and aging processes. Across the spectrum of books I have authored on health, fitness, and longevity, I have frequently referred to the body's 18 functioning systems. A commonality across this spectrum of functionality is that each system depends on optimized cellular integrity and viability. According to the Living Superfood System of Health and Longevity, our focus on the cell is fundamental. We aim to assume mastery from the cell forward over our complete wellness. The body has a DNA-encoded process for replacing cells that relies on stem cells. Stem cells are cells with the potential to develop into many different types of cells in the body. They serve as a repair system for the body. There are 2 main types of stem cells: embryonic stem cells and adult stem cells. Our ability to create the ideal internal environment that facilitates the maximum function of adult stem cell creation and differentiation is key to conscious control over our relationship to aging. And author note, the renowned scientific futurist and author of 55 books, it's like every time I write that statement I have to change the number of books, Kidi Awadu presents groundbreaking living superfood nutrition research, revealing secrets of harnessing nature's potent foods to jumpstart your body's healing and restoration processes. Learn more at keidi.biz/CRP2012. Experience transformative wellness with Awadu's carefully or expertly crafted recipes and principles of orthomolecular medicine. So part of that I didn't write, and I definitely appreciate it. I think it was regenerated from elsewhere, and part of it I did write. So you figure out what's what. What I'm going to do right now is post up this link to where you get the books and learn where you can learn about my expertly crafted recipes and principles of orthomolecular medicine. Very, very important that we get these things in, that we learn what they're all about. Real quickly, I want to post up the link to the books. Boom. And I think there's another place here where I can put them. And I should have been reloading that page. Post it up for our Rumble family. And I do see our Rumble family is there in the house. A couple of comments have come in. Brother Mumbera, my dear brother from another mother. Greetings, Keedy and family, he says. African Queendom is in the house. Greetings, Keedy and African family. Keep sharing this valuable information. This is from Sister Abeje. Sister Abeje, blessings to you, beloved sister. Another one of my recent students, she did our second 56-day stem cell regenerative class. And she is absolutely spectacular. And to see, she is slightly my elder, even though, they say black don't crack. But to see someone approach the stem cell regeneration class with not just a powerful will to make this real in her life, but she brought a lot of valuable life experience and knowledge, workable wisdom to it all. So, my beloved sister, it's great to have you in the house today. I salute you for joining our family. You and I now, we're joined at the Soul for Life. Next time, I can't wait to come back to the UK to spend time with you and that beautiful extended family that I have been able to acquire in the United Kingdom. I mean that with all sincerity. I am, because we are. I saw a couple of other comments come in. Mona Lisa, look at you. Mona Lisa, another one of our long-term students. She's recognizing. She said, I had posted up pictures of our most recent first Saturday feast from April 5th. I post up pictures 2 days from now. I plan to present a masterpiece. Can I complete 35 delicious vegan dishes? I plan to. Well, I did 37. And Mona Lisa commenting, she said, quit playing, Baba Keedy. You could do 64 if you wanted to. You are the master. My lifetime record is 56. So I agree that I could do 64 by myself. But that's a lot of work. To do 56, I had to start on Wednesday. And really from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and early Saturday, it was nonstop. But I got 56 in. To do 64, I could do 64, but it's expensive too. I have to buy all those food supplies. It is expensive. If I do 32, that's half of 64. It's a meal that people just go wild over. They say, wow, unimaginable. So thank you. I saw one other comment had come in. Let me see if I can get that comment in. And I don't see that comment. Deb says, hey, Chef Keedy, I messaged and texted you regarding this event. Please contact me at your convenience. And let me reply, because text me after noon at 702-580-0662. Okay. So I got her message because I'm thinking this person registered for the first Saturday feast late in the day. And it was like a couple of hours before the feast. I'm thinking that's what happened, because I was looking through and I saw this late one came in, and Deb Hill, and I couldn't remember everyone's name that was here. And I was thinking one person whose name I couldn't remember was Deb Hill. But if Deb Hill paid for the feast and didn't attend, then that's our bad. I do tell people, and if you're planning on attending one of our first Saturday feasts, don't wait until 2.5 hours before the feast to register. Please don't do that, because I'm so busy at that point. I'm trying to wrap up all the dishes, clean up the house, get the last minute shopping and food prep in, and then I gotta wash my and shave. And you registering, and I didn't get a chance to send Deb Hill the address. So I think that's what happened. It was just too late. And the money did post to my account, and I spent the heck out that money. And so, but we are not going to leave you behind. We're not going to leave you behind. Let's talk today. And let me just, I did say text me. Okay, enough said. No, she'll text me. We're almost at the end of today's program. Lastly, where are we at? I want to wrap it up. We're talking about stem cells and pancreatic. So we talked about the bone morphogenic protein 7, BMP7. That's a very important part. We got through all of that. Now we're just wrapping it up with some of these side articles that I pulled up. I'm going to real quickly cite these. The first one is from nature.com. This article is entitled, and I'm pretty sure it deals with today's topic, The Association of Nutritional and Inflammatory Status with Cardiovascular and All-Cause Mortality Risk Among Patients with Metabolic Syndrome. Very important article. Let me just cite this article and push it up as a reference, published March 20, 2025 in Scientific Reports. Copy, come over here and paste this. And here's what it had to say in part. Let me post up the hyperlink in case I need to come back and pull this document a little bit later. And here's what it had to say in part. Let me find the abstract. Abstract. To investigate the relationship between nutritional and inflammatory status and all-cause and cardiovascular mortality in the U.S. population with cardiometabolic syndrome, CMS, and to identify the optimal nutritional inflammatory index for assessing long-term prognosis. That's what the study is about. Health data from the 1999 to 2010 National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, that's NEHANS. We refer to NEHANS quite a few times. So health data from that study were used. Kaplan-Meier analysis explored associations between nutrition inflammation indices and mortality in the CMS population study. That's cardiometabolic syndrome population. Significant indices were selected for ROC curve analysis, and the most effective index was analyzed using Cox regression models. Restricted cubic splines, RCS, analyzed non-linear associations, and a recursive algorithm determined inflection points. Now, these are all just study methodologies. Subgroup and sensitivity analyses assess the stability of the model. The study included data from 5,969 participants, 2,900 males, 3,069 females, with 1,753 all-cause deaths and 607 cardiovascular deaths. Kaplan-Meier analysis indicated that good nutrition and low inflammation were linked to better long-term outcomes. The Advanced Lung Cancer Inflammation Index, ALI, was the most effective assessing index. Cox regression showed a negative association between ALI, advanced lung cancer inflammation, and both mortality types. RCS data analysis revealed a U-shaped relationship for all-cause mortality and an L-shaped curve for cardiovascular mortality. So this is getting a little technical. It's repeating itself, so no need to continue reading that. I would just say this much. Kaplan-Meier analysis indicated that good nutrition and low inflammation were linked to better long-term outcomes. That really becomes the key from that study. And the study goes on. I think the whole study is here. And let me go down to the end of the study, which I always like to do, and read what is the conclusion of this particular study. And it has a lot of references. I like those references. I like to just take time and go through these references. Conclusion. ALI, advanced lung inflammation. And that could be cold, that could be acute, that could be cold flu, immune system functioning, is an ideal indicator for evaluating the relationship between nutrition and inflammatory status, and both all-cause and cardiovascular mortality in the CMS population. That's the cardiometabolic syndrome population. Maintaining an appropriate ALI level can help reduce the risk of all-cause and cardiovascular mortality in CMS patients. That was a lot of talk, a lot of wordage for something rather simple. I'm not mad at him, but it was a lot of talk. I'm going to save that one to my file. And which file do I put that one in? That can go into Chewicide, even though the book Chewicide is a little more humorous than what this particular file might indicate. But that's okay. We do the best we can with what we got. Always striving to get more so that we can do better. So copy the title, print the article, save it to the folder, and I'm going to share one more reference of the research that I was preparing for today's conversation. And this last reference I'm going to share is actually, this is very important. And I pulled this one yesterday, not for today's research, but to answer another question which is in the book, Chewicide the book. And this dealt with stress response and angiotensin. That was what I was looking for, the word angiotensin, A-N-G-I-O tension, which means I'm going to look for this same response a second time. Explain. Let me make it more simple, more restricted. Explain adrenal gland response, stress response, and angiotensin expression. In how many words? 200 words should be fine. 200 words. And I'm going to copy and cut. I'm going to copy this response. I did copy the question as well for later, because rather than just do it on the fly in one search engine, I'd rather do it the way I like to do it in 4 different AI searches and then merge the 4 together so I have a clearer understanding of what it is that I was looking for. So here, explain. I didn't even spell explain right, but it got it. It figured it out. Explain adrenal gland stress response and angiotensin expression, and do this in 200 words. And here's what it has to share. This is from Brave AI. Adrenal stress response and angiotensin. The adrenal glands, which sit on top of the kidneys, stress response involves the regulation of angiotensin 2 type 2 ATA receptors, which contribute to the sympathoadrenal and hormonal reactions to stress stimuli, fight or flight. During isolation stress in rats, AT2 mRNA and binding levels increase in the adrenal glands zona glomerulosa, but decrease in the adrenal medulla. Acute inflammation caused by LPS, parenteral injection, leads to a decrease in AT2 binding in both the zona glomerulosa and adrenal medulla. In stress-sensitive rat strains, AT2 binding, angiotensin 2 binding increases in the zona glomerulosa but decreases in the adrenal medulla. These changes in AT2 receptor expression and binding suggest a complex role in stress response regulation. This is a little technical. I asked for 200 words. Let me just summarize because it's too technical to read right now. I just get exhausted doing that. In summary, the adrenal glands stress response involves intricate regulation of angiotensin 2 receptor subtypes, particularly AT2 receptors, which play a significant role in modulating the adrenal gland's response to stress stimuli. Now, the thing about it is all of this happens constantly, every day, all day long. And it happens at such a rapid level. I mean, you're driving down the freeway at a pretty good clip. You're not thinking about any dangers or stresses. You're listening to the radio. You're thinking about maybe what had happened at work, or you're going to see your significant other and you're excited about the lovely experience you're about to enjoy. And the car in front of you's brake lights come on. Immediately, this complex cascade of events takes place, and your adrenal glands sitting on top of your kidneys dump angiotensin 2 into the glomeruli of your kidneys, which is immediately dispersed across your body. I'm talking about immediately dispersed. Gets into your sympathetic nervous system in your spinal cord. And your response begins there before it even travels to your brain. All of this is this process that we've just been describing, called this process of angiotensin 2. Now here, someone I'll call, can't talk right now, will text you, call you right back. So I'm going to wrap up the show. I do have to take that call right now. Someone may be here to come and see me and pick up our food. So on that note, you've been tuned into LIV Radio, LIV TV, and LivingBlack.com. I hope you learned something very exciting today. Again, the very topic that we're talking about, yes, it's true that stem cells can regenerate and normalize pancreatic beta cells for insulin production. I think we've proved that can work for us. Now we're going to encourage more of you. I can encourage more of you and just send this message, come now, pick up your food. So I can encourage more of you to test your body, take it to the limit, get young again, get fresh again, go back, take your current age. I'm talking to you. Take your current age, divide it by 2. Then go back and capture those years. I am 69, so my current age divided by 2 is 35 years of age. And go back and capture it again. At 35 years of age, Kitty can do 200 push-ups multiple times a day. I just got to set aside time to do this. I got to be very specific. I need to do it at least once by 2:30 or 3 p.m. to be able to do it a second time around 7:30 to 8:30. But go back and recapture that vitality, that youthfulness. Recapture your clarity of cognitive functioning mind. Recapture all the good things that make you, you, that have defined your magnificent journey. I am because we are a glorious people, a magnificent people. We are a people whose life is full of promise. Be happy about who you are. Be happy about your health, your vitality. Be happy about all of the things that you do, including be very, very happy about your deep spirituality and expressions of spirituality, your kindness that you share to your fellow humans on this magnificent journey. Be happy that you are this magnificent product of creation, and that you are sharing your magnificence, your creative magnificence, with all of us who are on this journey, this magnificent journey together. I am because we are, and we are a beautiful people, and you are tuned into your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are livinginblack.com. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you.